Hello and welcome back to Nolan Financial Radio. My name is Chris McKinney from Nolan Financial Partners. If you'd like more information about what you hear during our show today, give us a call at 719-210-4242 or visit us online at nolanfinancialpartners.com. While at our website, click on the radio page, check out our past shows, and subscribe to our program on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Please don't hesitate to reach out to us with questions or to set up a face-to-face or even a virtual meeting. No matter what we're about to undertake, learning from those who have gone before us is a pretty wise step. When you're a kid, you may learn to fix a leaky pipe by watching your dad under the sink with his tools, or you may learn how to grow the perfect vegetable garden by watching your mom work in the garden. Personally, a big example of this concept was sports for me. When I was new to a team, I'd quietly watch how the older kids handled practices, interacted with coaches, and dealt with ups and downs of wins and losses and getting yelled at by coaches, all those kind of things. Quietly watching helped me overcome my nerves and lack of experience. So during the show today, we're going to share some wisdom from folks who are already enjoying their retirement. But before we jump into our topic, let me introduce you to my co-host, Tony Shore, whose previous experience in radio and podcasting has taught me a lot.
Oh, I don't know about that. You're a natural anyway, Chris. Come on. Come on. But
talking,
man. Happy to be of service. Happy to be of service. I've always enjoyed learning from you about the financial world and finances. And so this is a good topic you've got for us, obviously. I wanted to ask you how you've been. I mean, you've been busy, and Tara is off globetrotting again with her military career, right?
Yes, she's been to DC twice in the last month and a half. She's over in Germany right now, doing good things over there, and so yeah, she's just traveling all the time. I'm hoping to go see her over in Germany. I don't know if you've ever been to Germany, but it's a fun place. It's different enough that you have new experiences, right? But it's familiar enough that you don't feel out of place.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard great things from everyone I know who has gone or spent time there. My one of my best friends and my brother-in-law, my wife's sister and my brother-in-law lived in Germany. They traveled with the military. They lived there for 3 years and absolutely loved it. It was their favorite place they were stationed. They lived in Seoul. They lived in South Korea, Germany, and Turkey. And of course, Tim spent time in Afghanistan and Iraq, which were not his least favorites, but their favorite by far was Germany. They loved it, and everyone I know who's gone over has loved it. I have never been there. I've been to 4 other countries, Mexico and Canada, of course. Those are the givens. But I've also been to England and France. So.
Okay.
My favorite out of all of those would be England. I love it because I'm half English, half Irish. So I really enjoyed that, and I love the English sense of humor and the English. I'm a bit of an Anglophile, so
I really want to go to Ireland.
I'd love to. I'm half Irish. I really love that culture. I think I would really enjoy it. I've just never had the opportunity.
There's a family genealogy book in Ireland, and I'm in it because I married Tara.
Oh, wow. Oh, great.
She has cousins.
Yeah. Well, there you can go and see where the Whelan clan, the Whelan family that I'm part of, Whelan, and there's still there's a little you can see where their clan's village was at, and there's a pub there that's that the family had started. And so my mom's 2 sisters went over, and they retraced. We have our family history traced all the way back. So
nice.
Yeah, that's always fun.
That is fun to do.
Yeah, but let's jump into our topic. You've got a good one. What do we need to know before we retire? And I think the first thing we need to know is that we'll probably need to work with a financial services professional like yourself. That's going to come up. And it's not just a self-serving plug. I mean, it's any independent financial advisor who's a fiduciary and going to look out for your best interest is good. You want to find somebody that you fit well with. Uh,
Yeah.
I happen to know a guy, Chris McKinney and Tara Nolan. So yeah.
Yeah, it's really nice to have. This is what my clients tell me. It's nice to have somebody they can contact. Say, hey, I'm thinking about doing this with my whatever uh, finances, and is that a smart thing to do? And then we can give them the pros and cons. They make the decision. We don't make decisions for people.
After you tell them no, what?
Well,
No, I'm kidding. You know, that's what you're saying. You don't tell them no. You tell them, hey, here's the pro. Here are the pros and cons, and
yeah,
then
here here are all them implications, and here's how it may affect you in the future. And so that's the key thing for us, is that my job is to protect your future, but not hurt your current fun. Okay, so we want you to have fun. That's step one, is for you to have fun. Step two is protect your future. So we want fun and security.
yes,
Just not security and sitting at home not doing nothing.
yeah, and not just fun with no security or financial future
That
either.
that
Let's put
that
that in there too. Yeah,
that's right. We want people to have a financial future that looks like fun as well, right?
yeah,
And so that they can have the money to do the fun things they want to do, while knowing that they're not going to run out of money. And so that's the key thing is, some of the first things we talk to clients about is safe money and growth money, because you have to have both.
yeah.
And this inflation period is really showing that if you don't have growth money protecting your money from inflation, you could be in some serious problems, right?
Yeah. Definitely. Well, and you've talked about that before. It's, you have to have that growth, but at the
Yep,
same time, as you get older and get closer to retirement or in retirement, you definitely don't want everything at risk at the same time.
that's right. You want some safe money so that when so here's the problem is we've got a down market and we've got high inflation, which don't really go hand in hand normally. Usually we have a runaway market and inflation goes with it. But we're doing the other thing. So growth money is really hurting right now. It's not keeping up with inflation. Uh,
Yeah, that's
but
the problem.
that is the problem. So that safe money account still looks pretty good, except
Mhm.
for that it's being hurt by inflation. Anyway, let's get back to our topic. You're getting me into
Yeah, what's something I know that people have told you, man, I wish I would have talked to you about this before I retired. I wish I would have known this. What's something that people need to know before they retire?
So here's a call I've gotten in the past. Hey, I can borrow money from my 401k.
Ah,
Should I do it? And so if you're in your 40s and 50s and this move seems justified, hey, it's my money, it's okay. Yeah, sure. And the IRS allows it. You're able to borrow as much as 50,000 or
oh,
50% of the amount that's vested in the account, but that money must be paid back in no more than 5 years. So, you're tempted to use that money, but if you dip into it, to pay off like a high interest credit card, you need to get that money back in there because that retirement money is very important.
yeah. Yeah, it is, and you don't wanna jeopardize your retirement. Those accounts are for retirement. They're not
Yeah,
for a new boat or a new, European vacation or that's not an emergency fund or a cash fund. That's for
that's
retirement.
that's right. So if you don't pay that money back into that 401k to pay off that credit card, you're going to earn that money is going to have less opportunity to make those returns during those years that it's not back in there. And so you may lose out on some really sometimes when the market is on an upswing. So, you if you can't afford to pay the money back quickly, you may find yourself, meeting the requirement of paying the money back on time, but not eventually increasing your contributions. So you get into kind of a cycle where that money's just gone. It doesn't get back in there, and and then you have a problem where your retirement plan stops meeting your goals, and so you miss out a lot of opportunities. You may miss out on company match. There's things that happen when you start playing around with your 401k.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's not good. I mean, obviously, it sounds like, hey, if you're using some of your 401k to get out from a big credit card balance, it seems like it may be a good move, but there are serious issues. Like you said, if you pull that money out, that's money that's not earning compounding interest anymore, and that's really going to affect the growth of your retirement accounts and
That's right.
maybe affect the date you can retire, right?
Yeah, and we've seen that happen is we've asked some of our clients, can you hang on for another 6 months to a year so that we can get this retirement nest egg up to this point so that you can have what you want, and that extra year changes a lot for them, um, because it really helps, but sometimes that happens. Another thing that you may want to do before you retire is pay down that credit card debt. Now, this goes against what we just said, but the idea is you pay down your credit card with your income, right?
Yeah,
Um,
not with 401k or
Not your
retirement funds.
401k.
Yeah,
So, and that's sometimes why people need to extend is to get out of those high interest debts before you retire. Most
yeah,
retirements are kind of a fixed retirements, right? So fixed income might be high, might be low, but it's fixed, right? You're not earning more money. You don't have a passive income or something. Um, so dedicating uh, your money toward high interest credit cards and getting those paid off might impact your lifestyle a little bit right before you retire, but you'll be much happier if those debts aren't hanging over you on the day you retire.
yeah. Obviously, I can see that. So, credit card debt is a big one. We've talked about it on the show. You want to get out of debt, period, before
Yes.
retirement if you can, right? I mean,
Oh yeah.
yeah. I
Um,
mean,
not your mortgage. Mortgage is a different kind of debt.
yeah,
It's a different kind of loan.
yeah,
So it really depends on the how the note is structured.
yeah,
Um, so we talk about that. We'll sit down and talk about those things.
yeah. So, what's the next item that people need to know before they retire? Something they should be doing.
So another thing is healthcare is a big issue for retirees. Well, one
Yeah.
thing you can do about that is if you're in a company that allows you to take full advantage of a health savings account, an HSA, we highly recommend that you do that. So that money can be invested into growth, mutual funds, those kind of things, so that it will grow and it kind of acts like an IRA for healthcare. And then you can contribute on a tax-free basis, right?
While you're
Um,
working, you can contribute to an HSA, but
that's
it
right.
carries over. A lot of people think because it's attached to their employee healthcare plan or they got it through that or with that, it doesn't stop once you leave your job. If you
Nope,
retire, that HSA and that money, that's in there for as long as you need it until you take it out for
that's right.
healthcare expenses, right?
That's
And
right.
then it
For
comes out tax free. So you're
yes,
saving taxes on all that money and you can pay healthcare bills in retirement with it, is what you're
that
saying.
that is exactly true. So being able to pay uh, with tax-free money you never had to pay taxes on,
Yeah.
that's a big deal.
It's a
So
big advantage.
huge advantage. So if you unlike so there's flexible spending accounts,
Yeah.
those reset every year, so
Yeah.
you don't get to run it over. But yes, HSAs are indelible.
Lifetime.
They're
Yep.
lifetime.
As
So
long as you have money in it. And
as
you
long
can
as you
only
have money in it,
contribute as long as you're working and have that
that's right.
working healthcare plan. But after you've even turned 65, you can take withdrawals, right?
Yeah. So after 65. You can take withdrawals, so you can use it. Now, if you take withdrawals for non-medical reasons, you probably will have to pay regular taxes on that money. But
Well, yeah,
if they go toward um, any deductibles and copays with medical for Medicare medical care, you don't have to pay taxes on that.
that's
So that's
nice.
a big advantage.
Yeah, there are a lot of things actually that are included in HSA money that you can
Yes.
spend it on. Even some over-the-counter medications, things like that. Anything that's healthcare related,
Wow.
you can use
Yeah.
that money for vision, dental, hearing, stuff that Medicare doesn't cover. So
Right.
that's huge, and I don't think many people take advantage of that or sock a lot of money into that, so it'll carry on and through retirement.
Yeah, I mean, some of the problems is a lot of people aren't eligible because they don't have
Yes,
a
that's the
high
problem.
deductible plan. So you
Yeah.
gotta make sure that you're eligible, but if you are, you should definitely take advantage of it.
Yeah, like my wife and I aren't eligible for an HSA right now. We use our flex spending each year, but
Right.
it would concern me more if we're closer to retirement. It'd be great to have one, but at the same time, not everybody's eligible, so you have to find different ways to take care of that. So, this has been a great show so far. How can
Yeah.
our listeners get a hold of you for more information? What's that phone number and web address?
Yeah, so our phone number is 719-210-4242. Give us a call at that number. Call today, and if you get the answer machine, we'll get back with you, set up that complimentary consultation, and so that we can start talking about how you can get into a good retirement plan.
Yeah,
Um, our web address is nolanfinancialpartners.com. Pretty easy to remember. Check us out. We've got our radio programs up there so you can listen to some of our past shows.
awesome. That sounds great. Now, we've been talking about things that current retirees wish they'd done before
Yes.
they stopped working to help those listeners out there and viewers that maybe haven't yet retired or just recently retired. And a lot of insights. Great. I've learned a lot already. What do you have for us next, Chris?
So the next thing is a lot of people when they retire, they're not living in their where they want to be, and so it's not a great retirement community maybe because they're working. It's a business location, and
Right.
so there's not fun things to do there. So they want to move. So
Mm,
it's really important that you go check out those places that you're considering for retirement and go spend some quality time there. Go during the different seasons. If it's Florida and it has two seasons, then that's pretty easy, right?
right.
But go there and just wander around, get off the beaten path, find out what it's really going to be like to live there. Talk to people that are in those communities and see how they like it. So it's a really important to make a quality decision because you want to be moving a bunch of times during retirement because there's a lot of cost to moving.
Oh, yeah. There is a lot of cost. You don't realize it until you do it, and it's expensive, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's really expensive, and you lose 10 to 20% of your equity every time you move. I was in the military, so I saw that happen.
Yes.
Um, and so it's something that you've got to take into account when you're moving is it's going to impact your retirement a little bit every time
Yeah.
you move. So
Sure.
come up with a good plan on where you want to go.
Yeah. Well, and like your point too, spend some time where you're thinking about moving. I mean, spending a week in Lake Country in the middle of summer, that's very different than living in Lake Country in the middle of winter,
Yes.
right?
Oh,
Yeah.
right, right. And look around. We had a realtor showing us a house one time, and we said, "What's that over there?" And he said, "Oh, nothing. Don't worry about that." I'm like, "Okay." And so we later asked some other people about it, and it was a cult that had a gate and people carrying guns. It was in Texas.
Oh,
You know how that is.
yeah, a
Uh,
militia or something, some crazy.
yes, and so they are all living in trailers. It was a charismatic cult.
Wow.
Um, but anyway, yeah. So make sure you know who your neighbors are.
Yeah. Might not wanna live within sight of that, but, yeah, that's crazy. That's a
Yeah.
funny story. I did not know that. That's funny. Yeah, that would scare me away. That's for sure. So, what's next?
So the next thing I wanted to talk about was how you're going to interact with your family and friends. So now you have all this great time. It's
Yep.
one of the most exciting parts about retirement is you think you're going to be able to spend more times with your family and friends, which you will. But here's the problem: is they may not have time for you. So they're still going to school. They're still working. They're have people have busy lives. So you have a wide open schedule, but they don't. So
Yeah, good point.
there's uh you need to find healthy and inexpensive ways to enjoy some time on your own,
Yeah.
uh, and it could be anything, but you need to find something.
Yeah, volunteer opportunities,
Right.
hobbies, there's a lot of adventures out there just waiting for you, but have a plan in place, have a purpose in retirement. You're not gonna be able to hang out with everybody you want to all the time because, they might not have the same kind of time you do on their hands, right? That's your point?
That's right, and
Yeah.
and then kids can't travel maybe when you want to travel. You
Yeah.
know, your goal in life is to take your grandkids to Disney World or Six Flags or something like that. But that you have to make sure that you can do it while on their time, not on your time.
Right.
So there's the one thing that's good about that is that since those are times that everybody can travel. If you travel during times when other people can't, sometimes there's some good deals out there, right?
Yeah, you can go in
Hotels,
off-peak times
yeah,
when,
off-peak
everybody
time.
else is working or, that type of thing because you're retired, you have that advantage, every day's a
Yeah,
Saturday to you. So then take the grandkids, maybe, take them out of school a couple of days, take them to Disney World on,
sure.
off-peak time, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think schools have become more flexible with kids taking time away,
Yep.
especially if it's for something like that.
Yeah.
Um, they're more amenable, I think, than they used to be about that with the
The
kids. So.
they are, yeah. The school I remember it was pretty strict. You didn't miss school.
Yeah, Yale me school. No, no way.
Nope, for anything. Blizzards, we would be snowmobiling to school, snowshoeing to school up in Minnesota, northern Minnesota. It didn't matter.
Didn't matter.
They weren't going to close that school. And I thought it was funny because in the 6 years I lived in Nashville, Tennessee, my wife and we laughed because at that time we didn't have kids yet, but we had friends with kids and stuff, and we'd hear on the news um, they forecast a possibility of some snow, which and they would cancel the school for 2 days. The school would be shut, and there's no snow, but it would be shut because it might snow, and we laughed so hard.
We've got these snow days and we're going to spend them.
Yeah. Oh, hey, there might be snow tomorrow. We're done. We're closing today right now. And
Yeah,
then it snows like literally like for 20 minutes and it's a dusting and then it melts and then the whole town shuts down. Businesses are closing early, cars are skidding off the road. It's Tennessee, if it does snow, it's so funny. I mean, funny in one sense, sad in another. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. But
I
anyway, what's next? What's another thing that people need to know before they retire, Chris?
so a lot of people are thinking about doing part-time work while they're retired. And
Sure.
so look, you don't have to get a job doing something you hate when you're retirement. That's the
Right.
great thing about
Yeah,
retirement.
do something you want.
Find something you will enjoy. So don't undervalue socialization that comes with having a job.
Yeah.
it's a big deal to talk to people every day and not just yourself in the mirror and your spouse. So, you can how much extra income do you want to take, that won't drain you, that you'll find fun, and do that. And you wanna set that up before you retire because maybe it's consulting in the area that you did. Well,
Sure.
if you don't tell everybody around you that you're retiring from the job, but you're gonna open your consulting, that's your best time to market yourself for that consulting work.
Yeah.
Um, but if you're gonna go work at Starbucks and be a barista, you know, maybe you need to learn a little about being a barista before you sign yourself up for something that you may or may not like, right?
Right. Exactly.
I saw a
Good.
statistic that 1 in 8 people have worked in McDonald's.
Isn't that nuts? I saw that same stat. I've seen that.
Yeah.
That is crazy, and
I,
it's a stat that's increased over the years. How many 1 in 8 have worked at
mhm.
McDonald's for one company. That many people have worked for that company. I
Yeah.
can proudly say I'm not one of those people. I'm not one of the 1 in 8, but, did you ever work at a McDonald's?
I did not. I never worked fast food unless
Me
you count my grandmother's candy slash lunch store that was only open before school, at lunchtime and after school.
Oh, the closest I ever came to that would be I worked for Domino's delivering pizzas. I was a pizza delivery guy for
Oh
Domino's
boy.
for about 3 months during my college days.
You see, you liked it that well.
I absolutely loved it.
Really?
I'm being sarcastic. No,
Okay,
I'm
okay.
being very, very, very sarcastic. Absolutely not. It
Absolutely
was
the best ever.
it was
People
not
are
for me.
so nice when you bring them a cold soggy pizza.
Actually, the social aspect I didn't mind, but it was
Okay.
just like, nah, yeah, not for me.
Yeah.
Food services is industry is not for me. But Chris, we're almost out of time. And
Yeah,
before we go, I know the most important thing people tell you is, I wish I had worked with you earlier. I wish I'd started financial planning with a
that's right.
professional earlier, right? That's the
Get
number one.
getting that game plan together before you retire. Uh,
Yeah.
that's where you need to spend a little time, right?
Yeah.
It's only the next 30 years of your life. I don't know, maybe spend a
Yeah.
couple hours on it.
That could be up to a third of your life. So, yeah,
Could
you might wanna
Mhm.
spend a few hours with a financial planner figuring
Yeah.
it out.
You spend what, 16, 20 years educating yourself to become an adult and be a working person and being part of society, but you won't spend you know, 5 hours it takes to plan the next 30 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not that hard.
Yeah,
People will help you, but you have to spend some time doing it. It's good. There's
yeah,
gonna be some work involved,
yeah,
but most of the work is gonna fall on the, financial advisor because we're the ones that answer the questions, right?
yep.
So you
And
don't
you
have to
run
get
the reports, you answer the
Yeah.
questions, you figure it out. Well, hey, what's the phone number and web address, before we go here?
Yeah, so give us a call at 719-210-4242. We've got some complimentary consultation time set up in the middle of the week. Um, Give us a call, 719-210-4242, set those up. Our website is nolanfinancialpartners.com. You can check us out, listen to past radio shows, or contact us through there.
All right. Sounds great, Chris. And that does it for today's episode of Nolan Financial Radio with our host, Chris McKinney.
Join
Thanks,
us
Chris.
again soon for another episode of Nolan Financial Radio. Take care, and we'll talk to you again.
Good show.
Good show.